Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Welcome to our first flight featuring the brand new 777 update, and this time we are going from Amsterdam down to Cape Town, featuring some lovely views of the western coast of Africa and the Sahara Desert, and finally a lovely night landing down in Cape Town. Flight time today is expected at around 11 hours, and I'd say let's go right into our beautiful 777-300ER over here, and we are going to do a quick overview of our flight plan before we are going to start with our cockpit preparation. So here's our sim brief overview once again. You can see we've got a couple of ETOPS segments down here, but let's start with the basics. So we are going to start with our flight plan PDF over here. So quick overview of the route. This is what it looks like, pretty much, as I said, above Paris, Mallorca, and then down the Sahara Desert, and finally along the western coast of Africa until we start our approach into Cape Town. Significant weather charts over here, pretty much nothing over Europe and Northern Africa. Then we've got a little bit of weather down here, pretty much one country that's forecast with isolated embedded CB, and looking at the CBs to the left and to the right of it on the chart, this is probably where the intertropical conversion zone runs along at the moment. Well, finally getting down to the southern part of Africa again, beautiful weather, a little jet stream over here which might come with a couple of turbulence, but apart from that really nothing spectacular over here. Our alternate today is planned as Johannesburg, which is quite far away, so we are going to have quite a lot of fuel on our arrival, but that is what they are using in the real world as well. Now, going into a little bit more particular weather conditions over here, let's go ahead and have a look at our departure weather. Schiphol is calm winds, cavalcade conditions, and our destination Cape Town, and towards the evening is getting a little bit bad weather here, heavy rain showers, 2,500 meters visibility till 1600. Let's just see, our arrival is scheduled at 1925, so it shouldn't be all that much of a problem. A little bit late today unfortunately, but we'll see whatever we can make up. Okay, so overall weather conditions are going to be alright at our destination, and then looking at our alternate Johannesburg, cavalcade conditions up to 22 degrees today. Looks like a beautiful winter day down in South Africa. The other alternates are basically looking very good as well, and looking at our ETOPS upper airports, we got Tam and Gusset over here. Prop 40 tempo, a little bit of gusts and some drifting sand with reduced visibilities, but it is usable as an alternate. Then we've got Abuja down here, and they are a bit more of a factor down here, reporting light thunderstorms, light rain, but again, nothing too shabby down there. Luanda is looking good, and Windhoek is looking excellent as well. Okay, and that concludes our look at our weather. Now in the real world you would have a look at all the other en route airports you'd have as well, especially in Africa. This is always something important since you, well, never really know. Okay, but this is what we have today. The rest of it we're going to check en route then. So taking all of that into account and looking at our flight plan, you can see that we have already planned 117 tons of fuel basically. And we do have 11 tons of alternate fuel to Johannesburg, 20 minutes of extra fuel for the contingency, and the final reserves obviously 30 minutes. So looking at this weather and seeing that the alternate is good, I don't really see reason to take much extra fuel here. So for that reason we're just going to take those 117 that they have planned over here. We might take a little look into the ops impact down here. If we fly a bit faster, we can save 12 minutes at the cost of 3.5 tons. Now that is really expensive. We're probably rather not going to do that, so let's not take any extra for this. Okay, in other words, we end up with 117 tons of fuel for our flight. Then let's go ahead and take a seat on the captain's seat of our Boeing 777. Now, first things first, a quick look down into our settings down here. So we've got the new update nav data page, which we've done. So our IRAC is currently valid until early August. Okay, excellent. Well done. Let's go ahead, request our data from SimBrief, and while that's in progress, we can quickly go ahead with the acceptance of our aircraft. So we'll start with the oil quantities, which have been filled up. We check the hydraulic quantities. We can go for the APU oil quantity down here as well, 7.7, that is good. And then we can look into our oxygen, 1850, and do the oxygen check right at this point. 1850 remains, excellent. So recoil, what do we have there? Looking for anything that is out of the norm right now, but this looks all very good. Okay, that's everything as expected. Okay, in other words, our aircraft is good to go. Then we can turn on the ADRU so that it can start aligning and down into the FMS. So we've got the 777-300ER, the database is the current one. We'll have to set the position in a few moments once the system has started initializing. Set the payload, set the fuel, and select the route down here. So route uplink in progress. Let's go ahead and use the meantime to uplift our fuel. So we want 117 we set. Here we go, 117 tons of fuel are on board now. So here comes our route. And that's gonna take a little while to uplink, so let's just go ahead and wait for that. In the meantime, while the system uplink is in progress, let's go ahead and request our departure weather down here. Flight information, ATIS request, Amsterdam. We are going to use VATSIM weather since we are flying this one on VATSIM, even though there is currently no ATC online over here. Let's also get automatic updates. Okay, and the uplinks are ready. So, the call sign is incorrect though. It is going to be KLM 119 today. Here we go. Call sign KLM 119. And here we go. Okay, so they are departing 36 left at the moment. So that is going to be the long taxi, unfortunately. And looking into this, we are going off via the Kudak, where is it? Here it is. Kudak to Zulu departure towards Woody. So Kudak to Zulu, ending at Woody, and then for the arrival, runway 1 is planned at the moment, so ILS 1, and we've got the Aspect 1 Alpha arrival. Transition via the Fox India, I guess we gotta take that. We'll check the route in a few moments anyway. Okay, our weather has also just arrived. Amsterdam information Zulu. Surface wind 0602, visibility 10, temperature 19, QNH 1019. That's excellent. Okay then, now comes the important part. Especially on a flight that has such a long routing like this one, you really gotta check very carefully that all your route has correctly uplinked. I've had it plenty of times already that something went wrong with the route uplink and parts of the route, especially close to the destination, were missing from the route, and we really want to avoid that. So let's go ahead and make a careful check here. So Kudat to Zulu towards Woody, November 852 Medal, Upper November 87 to Lesto, Upper Mike 728 KTEX, direct Kotis, direct Kukor, direct Adeka, direct Mokti, direct Mont, direct Badam, direct Karnik, November 855 Genio, November 859 Mogil, Uniform Bravo 31 Zulu Echo Mike, Uniform Bravo 726 Bravo Sierra Alpha, Upper Juliet 36 Tango Golf Uniform, Upper Mike 508 Bravo Oscar Delta, Upper Romeo 978 Alpha Sierra, Upper Alpha 604 Delta Lima Alpha, Upper Golf 681 Messine, Upper Yankee 339er Likat, Upper Yankee 242 Victor Mike Oscar, Upper November 190 Xalvi, Upper November 188 Alpha Bravo Victor, Upper Quebec 62 Aspec, and then we are there already. Okay, excellent, we can take that. Okay, copy the route, and now off to our departure. So, Amsterdam, and we need some general airport charts, even though we are of course going to use our live taxi chart for that, but nonetheless, let's at least bookmark the standard stuff over here. Okay, and now for our departure. So we've got... Let's see if we can find that stuff. Kudat. I wish there was a search function for this stuff. Here we go. Kudat. Okay, definitely not gonna fly the Victor departure. That would be a little early turn over here. Even though it would surely be fun to fly this, but they are using the long one as far as I'm aware. And, well, looking over this, there are actually no restrictions on there, are there? Nope. Okay, so quick check. We go via Alpha Mike 013, Sierra Papa Yankee, Alpha Mike 072, Lecco Kudat Woody. And that's exactly what we have. No speed restriction, no nothing. Well, that's what I call an easy set to fly. Initial climb clearance, flight level 60. Uplink the winds, uplink the descent forecast winds, and then 5,403 miles versus 5,397 miles. That's close enough for my taste. So, Amsterdam 25 miles. Well, we could tune Sierra Papa Yankee, but then again, it's going to auto-tune it when it needs it anyway. Okay, transition altitude 3000 is correct, and then we can insert our GPS position down here, and getting on to the performance, accept the uplink. Let's see, for the fuel, 114.3 is correct, cruise level 290 is correct, cost index 100 is also correct, minimum fuel temperature minus 44, cruise CG something around 30, and here we go. So, acceleration 1500, reduction 1500. Nah, not really. Let's make it acceleration in 1000, flying noise abatement procedure number 2. Thrust reduction 1500 is okay, engine out acceleration we'll use 1000 as well. And that is it. So that is our FMC pre-flight completed down here. Then let's go ahead and check our rest of the aircraft. What we can already do is to remove all those service vehicles we had in place over here. So anything that is not required for our boarding can go. So aft galley, cleaning, well, we'll keep the cargo and the lavatory services. I think that should be everyone going right now. And that way they can already go for the boarding. Refueling is complete, so we'll turn the fasten belt signs on. That's it. That's it. That's it. I tell you what, let's start the APU. It might otherwise just get a little warm in here. Well, a new 8 is just coming in. We'll check that in a moment. Temperature is currently 20 degrees. That's nice. And once passengers are on board, it will get a bit warmer, but by that time we will have the APU running. Okay, new 8 is basically unchanged. Excellent. So, reset, all, thanks. And here we go. Okay, 1019 is already set. Auto brake RTO. Park and brake, we can set that one. Frequencies will tune once we actually get there. For now, I just want silence over here. So 1 to 1.5 going into the standby. Transponder to above, standby is selected, and we definitely have a second pilot on board on a flight like this with us as well. So here we go. Okay. And I think that should mostly be it. So, looks like the IRS alignment has finished already. In that case, let's do the pre-flight checklist. Oxygen, tested 100%. Flight instruments, heading 264, altimeter 1019, reading 0 set left, set right. Pre-flight checklist complete. Okay, are you ready for the departure briefing? So, threats for this departure, to be honest, I don't really see many. Actually, none at all. Crossing 36 center on the taxi out, so we'll have a good look outside. And we're flying on VATSIM, but without ATC, so it's going to be Unicom traffic. We'll make announcements when necessary, but that should mostly be it. Okay, a route check is completed. Instrument cross check, time 0758, altimeter 1019, reading 0. MFRA is going to be 1000, flight directors are on, and standby instruments set. It's a left seat takeoff, runway 36 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2. Engine out, sit straight out 25 miles, climbing 3000, that's safe above the MSA of roughly 2000 and a bit. Now, for emergencies above 80 knots, I will only reject for fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind chill warning, aircraft unable, unsafe to fly, or any ICAS message. If I call stop, I simultaneously close the thrust lever, disengage the auto throttle, apply maximum reverse thrust, verify maximum manual braking, or RTO auto brakes in operation. When manually raise the speed brake lever, and when the aircraft comes to stop, I will set the parking brake. Right, if you call stop, I know the brakes on, speed call, speed picks up, or speed picks not up, and thrust towards normal or abnormal indications. Call 100 knots, 80 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions, call in emissions, so I call auto brake disarm, select flaps 30 when the brake has been set, advise ATC of the reject. Thanks, we then identify the failure, carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate, we read and do the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CBRCB, you grab the load documents, and then we get out. So, for our taxi, it's going to be standard pushback, and then we taxi out via, well, basically all the turns to the right. Come on, zoom in. So basically all turns to the right, crossing 36 center in the process. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so out over here, onto Bravo, onto Charlie, crossing in here, and then via Victor 4 to runway 36 left. Our departure is going to be the Kudat to Zulu departure, straight out, right-hand turns. Initially 13 miles straight ahead, MSA wise, yeah, 1800 around, Schiphol VOR 2300 down here, and initial climb to flight level 60. Okay, do you have any questions about this? No? Excellent. In that case, boarding is probably nearing completion already. Let's see if we can get some valid load data. So, 219.9, that looks pretty familiar. And indeed, 219.9 it is. Giving us a gross weight of 336.9, that's more than good enough. So let's go ahead and run some mathematics for this one. Schiphol, runway 36 left. Import the weights, import the weather. Optimum is looking good, that is looking good. The winds were not variable. Runway length has been imported correctly, I believe. Let's just cross-check that. 3,800 meters should be fine, but just to be on the safe side here. Yeah, 3,800 is correct. Okay, calculate. Flaps 5 takeoff, 39 degrees assumed temperature. And that is 99.2 versus 99.1, close enough. Okay, flaps 5, CG 26.2, 5.5 versus 5.4, takeoff speed 77, 86, 90. Wow, that's got to be the highest takeoff speeds I've had on the 777 so far. Alright, excellent. So that is what we're going to do. On that case, let's say hello to the passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of KLM. Welcome aboard our flight 597 to Cape Town. Flight time 11 hours. We expect a mostly smooth flight today. Sit back, relax, enjoy the trip with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make your flight more enjoyable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. The cabin crew will shortly perform the safety demonstration, so please pay your full attention, as that is not just for your own safety, but also for the safety of the passengers sitting around you. Once again, welcome aboard. Okay. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and call GSX. Prepare position for pushback and departure. APU running we have. Ground flight deck. Go. So you can disconnect all the equipment. We are preparing the aircraft and closing all the doors. And as soon as you are ready, we are ready as well. So, release ground power, remove chocks. Cabin crew, all doors in flight. So, sit chart is prepared. Taxi chart as well. We do not have any ATC online at the moment. Okay. So, let's go. $190, 002, and 6,000 it is. Can we pressurize hydraulics? Clear to pressurize. Let me guess. Fuel in center? Surprise. So, 5.5 units at trim. Let's always be sure to use the thumb switch on the control column there to trim the aircraft. A couple of persons still using or trying to use the alternate pitch trim. We don't do that. Okay, before start checklist. Flight deck door. Oh, there we go. It'll be a while until I get accustomed to that. Right, is closed and locked. MCP 190 002 6000. Takeoff speeds 177, 186, 190. CDO pre-flight complete. Trim 5.5, 0 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed, holding a beacon. Okay, quick look outside. Nobody and nothing behind us. That is good. In that case, let's go ahead and request our pushback, please. So, that's, well, push-pull facing northwest, heavy Alpha 16. Okay, yeah, heavy sounds like us. Let's do that. Skip all traffic, KLM 119 heavy, stand Foxtrot 4, pushing back. Okay, before start checklist complete. Ground from cockpit, go ahead. So, you're cleared to push, the parking brake is released. Roger, pushing back, and stand by for engine start. Standing by for startup. So, 4 minutes ahead of schedule. The schedule was 10 past, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was. 0810. That's excellent. So, push-pull Alpha 16. I guess that's probably that one over here. Sometimes it's a little pity that not all taxiway designators show correctly on the moving maps, but we can live with that, can we? Okay, so let's see where that pushback is going to take us. I really have no idea what to expect from this one, but normally the GSX profile is pretty good for Amsterdam, so let's see about it. I would not be surprised if the pushback goes anywhere into here or into here. What do we have on the signs over there? Alpha 14, Alpha 14. Is that a 6? No, that's a 6. Okay, Alpha 16 in here. So I guess the push is gonna take us Maybe back into here and then pull forward into here? Either one of them. We'll see about it. The livery just looks beautiful, doesn't it? I like the names of the KLM aircraft as well. National Park Grand Canyon. Yeah, I used to think that they only have Dutch national parks in there, but looks like I've been mistaken about that. Okay, so we're going into here. And I guess we'll pull along the line over here, so I'll just wait with the engine start until we know where we are going for sure. If we'd start them now, you know, they use like 50-60 kilos a minute in idle. That'd just be a waste of time. Or rather, a waste of fuel. And since we're not in the US over here, where fuel generally doesn't seem to be as much of a concern, we'll try and do things right. Okay, he starts walking forward already. I guess then we'll pull around the corner now, huh? Yeah, here we go. I think once we're halfway through the corner, that's about a good moment to start our engine start, isn't it? So, busy morning here in Amsterdam. Especially for our passengers. We're pushing at 10 past 10 local time. So, most of them are probably connecting passengers from elsewhere. So, they have probably all connected via the 6 o'clock in the morning flight from other stations already. In other words, they're awake since, I don't know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that. So, at least they can sleep a little bit now, provided they can sleep on a daylight flight. But at least we'll make it nice and comfortable for them. Okay, I think this is a good moment to commence our engine start. Left engine start. Ground flight, starting left. Clear left. That's a good start on left, starting right. Clear right, set your brakes, push is complete. Brake set. Okay, starting the right-hand engine. Always impressive how long that engine start of the GE90 actually takes. It's just a huge engine, isn't it? Okay, Captain, the tuck and bypass pin are removed and we are ready to go down here. Roger, stand by for engine start. And here we go. The red EGT maximum start line is gone, so the engine start is complete. Okay, ground, we've got 2 good starts. You're clear to disconnect. Don't let yourself be run over by the tug. What did I just say? So see you in front with a pin and have a wonderful day. Bye now. Okay, there is our clear signal. Flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice. Auto. Recall. Checked. Flight controls. Checked. Ground equipment. Clear. Before taxi checklist complete. Amsterdam, KLM 119, taxi holding point, runway 36 left.
KLM 3219, Delta 49er. Pushback and start standard procedure.
Okay, brake is released. Clear left side. Clear right side. Gotta be careful with all those cars over here that we don't run into any of them. Okay, the left side is clear and there is nobody coming on the right side. So straight ahead, and once we are behind the runway, first taxiway to the right. Gonna be a little taxi. Welcome to Schiphol for all you. But what can we do? 36 left is what they are using at the moment, so 36 left is what we are going to take. I talked to a KLM pilot once and he said that there is nothing more relaxing after an exciting 11-hour night flight than to taxi back in low visibility conditions with 30 minutes taxi time. And I think if we use this, then we will be understood a bit better by those people on Honeycomb. Okay. So let's not miss our taxiway. So next to the right, into Charlie. Well, not this one, but the one thereafter. Okay, cabin is ready. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete. Clear left side. Clear right side. So next off to the right. And I think at the next left we're already going to cross. Yep, Whiskey 5 it is. Okay, so next to the left.
Ground KLM 3219er at the Delta Pier, ready for taxi, waiting for the 777.
Escape all traffic, KLM 119er Heavy, crossing 36 center. Okay, we're clear on the approach. Strobe lights on, crossing. And the right side is clear as well. So it's already been 13 minutes till we started our pushback. And we haven't reached the runway yet. But well, I am not surprised. It was a particularly long pushback as well, wasn't it? Okay, so the left side is clear, the right side is clear, there is no oncoming traffic. Since this is VATSIM, I would never be surprised. Okay, let's review the takeoff briefing. It's gonna be a left seat takeoff, 36 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, takeoff speed 77, 86, 90, and our sit straight ahead for 13 miles, then a right hand turn, initial climb flight level 60, which is a flight level already with a pretty low transition down at 3,000 feet. In case of emergency, we can go straight ahead for 25 miles, MSA wise 1,800, so climbing to anywhere around 3,000 is going to keep us safe. And if we do need to come back, they are landing runway 06 at the moment, so that is going to be our landing runway. Apart from that, nothing special really. Maybe a little bit of manual flight there, at least for the acceleration and that good stuff. And, well, if it does get too busy, then I'll of course put the autopilot on. Alright, questions, comments or concerns? Nothing. Excellent. Okay, straight ahead to the end, then left, full length, and that's gonna be it. So overall, just a quick 20-minute taxi. Okay, new ATIS over there. Well, let's just quickly look into it, because why not? So 0703, and well, that's basically unchanged, huh? Cancel. Thanks. We'll cancel a contract with that when we're in the air. So, there's nothing coming on the left there. That's good. Nothing from the right as well. Then we'll go full length and off we go. It's kinda a waste to use a little bit of thrust now to accelerate by a couple knots, only to break him away again at the end, but it just feels wrong not to. So, 20 minutes till our 20 minutes since our pushback, roughly. Skippo traffic, KLM 119 heavy, line up and takeoff, 36 left. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. The checklist is complete. That traffic is all for different runways, and I have no clue what this guy is doing there at light speed. Well, that's all fine for me. No problem with that traffic. The wind is coming slightly from the right, maybe 5 to 10 knots, a little bit gusty. Shouldn't be too much of a problem altogether. Okay, takeoff.
Civil traffic comes over forwarding taxiing runway 24 for the D2 Sierra.
Set thrust. Thrust set.
8 knots.
Checked.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. $400. Okay, we've got LNAV and VNAV. Perfect. Acceleration altitude. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. So just gotta ensure not to overspeed them while they are retracting now. That's one of those 777 at high weight gotchas. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. And the same thing over here again. Making sure not to overspeed those flaps. There we go, that's looking good. Okay, autopilot on. Flaps are up. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 33. Now. Checked. Alright, that is looking good. So we can see a little bit of a mismatch here on the turn. So you can see that it draws that turn over here, ends here, and it starts the other one here. So the lines are clipping a little bit. That's actually not a bug, but a feature. And that happens when the speed is too high, so the turn radius just doesn't add up. Now, today I'm really not worried about that at all, because it is just a very tiny mismatch there. So the plane will be able to deal with that, but it's something that you should always have an eye on, especially at these rather high gross weights. Okay, so we're up in the air. Let's see, arrival time, 1923. I believe the schedule was 1925? Yeah, 1925. Excellent. So that's beautiful. We are running on time. Slight overshoot of the turn here, but nothing to worry about. And as we can see, very minor overshoot, 0.02 miles. We can absolutely live with that. Okay, so we are on the way. Then let's take a little look at the chart down here. Zoom that in, please. So the boundary to Belgium is woody. But we'll probably enter Maastricht airspace before that, so let's see about any directs that we may be able to get at a later point. I think if we just fly straight towards 072 and then join the straight line over here, that is going to be about as straight as it gets, huh? So, might be a little bit turbulent as we fly through this. I am going to leave the seatbelt signs on for now. However, those clouds are so thick, there is no reason to keep the speed low. Sometimes if you just got some turbulent layer just about close to your altitude, you know, you may just keep the speed down at the minimum clean speed or something just to climb through it quickly, but with these large cloud bases up here, I don't think that's going to be worth it. So, one aircraft climbing through our level straight ahead, but 12 miles separation down here. Gotta be this guy. That's fine, he's not gonna do us any evil. Okay, well, let's go ahead and grab the latest winds, and then we can just make a quick decision whether we want to fly any faster or not. Though I don't think it will be necessary today. If it's just, you know, 5 minutes of delay or so, not worth wasting the extra fuel for that. Okay, descent forecast in progress. Once that's here, let's decide on the cruise level and on the cruising speed. And here it comes. So, 0.831, recommended level 270. Well, we're planned at 290 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 290 and COTIS 310. Let's just see where COTIS is. Down here, 300 miles away. Yeah, let's go to level 290 straight away. If they say they want us to climb again, you know, that soon, then we'll just take 290. Even though the recommended may be a little bit lower here. Doesn't really matter that much, does it? Okay, that's flight level 290 set. Then for now, there is not all that much we need to do still. So at this point, we might as well just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. But I am just going to keep this one running for a bit until we are past those clouds, seeing if there is any turbulence in there. And we might as well just use the time to mark a couple of FIR boundaries. So we're going to start down at Woody. Then entering the French at Medial. Barcelona at Carnic. And thereafter Algiers at Mogil. Alright, and that shall do as our initial FMS setup there. Interesting, it detected some icing conditions even though the temperature is plus 13. But well, if the simulator says there's icing, then the sim says there's icing, even though that is certainly rather unexpected right now. Alright, might be a little bumpy as we go above this, and once we're past that I think we can probably release the seatbelt signs here. Well, apart from that, our aircraft is pretty much set up for the flight. Oh, look at that, even the wing anti-ice came on right now. We can't see that, can we? Can't really see the wing in the 777. No. Okay. And the anti-ice is off again. Well, that was a rather unexpected icing encounter, with the temperatures even above plus 10. But hey, you never know, huh? This stuff certainly can happen. Even though it's very, very unlikely. Well, I don't want to decide whether it's down to Microsoft Flight Simulator or down to the weather data provided. I don't know. Might be a bug, might not. In any case, we are through it now. Okay, well that is right in our way here. You know, on long hauls we always go that little extra mile. If we don't really know there's going to be turbulence in here, maybe a slight bump or so. But then again, what we feel as a slight bump right here in the cockpit might come as some really heavy bump in the back of the airplane because of that very, very long arm that you have from the front to the back of the aircraft. So while you might not feel anything at all, they might get tossed around in the back of the aircraft. So okay, we're through it, and I think from now on the weather is definitely going to stay fine, so passengers are released. Okay, let them start the service. At the same time, let us get up to cruising altitude, so I am going to use a little bit of acceleration over here so that we can do our fuel check by the time we get all the way up. And once that is done, we can go ahead and fast forward a little bit. So there will be a couple of ETOPS airports around our route which we will have to deal with. You will see me set up the rings as we fly along and collect the weather as well. In general, I don't expect anything to really hinder our flying experience today, so I do expect this to be a smooth flight all the way down with a couple of great views on the wilderness of Africa. So, unless I do say anything throughout the flight, you can assume that everything just went completely normal. Now, if you'd be interested in me doing a live stream of one of those African flights where I explain stuff similar to the way I did on the trip over to San Francisco recently, do put it in the comments below and we can definitely think about doing something like that. Okay, reaching 290, back on VNAV. Let's find that top of climb up here. So, should have taken 18 minutes, it took 17. We should have 109.4 versus 110.5. And we should have used 7.3, and we have actually used 6.5. So all those numbers do add up. And with that out of the way, I'd say we can go ahead and continue our flight like this. So whenever anything happens, I will let you know, and in the meantime, I'd say sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful views of a flight halfway around the world. Good evening, everyone. The sun is set and we are closing in on our destination. About 80 miles till the top of descent and we can start setting up for our approach. So first of all, let's go ahead and grab our weather. So we are going to land in Cape Town down here, Fox Alpha Charlie Tango. Gonna send that one out and we can establish automatic updates so that we get updated of new information as soon as it becomes available. So let's wait for the weather, and once that arrives we are going to continue with our approach preparation. In the meantime, however, let's just go ahead and grab a couple of charts already. So here we go, that's still our departure charts. Let's go for our arrival this time, Cape Town. And we're coming in via our Aspec. So for now we've got the Aspec 1 Alpha for the ILS approach onto runway 1. We'll have to see if we are going to fly it exactly as per the chart or if we are going to get radar vectors. Most likely we'll fly it via the chart initially and then give ourselves some vectors later on. So here we go. That's wind 340 at 20, clouds broken 4000, temperature 14, QNH 1021. So 1021 is pre-selected twice, and apart from that we know now that we've got good weather conditions. We had already turned the seatbelt signs on here since we did encounter a bit of turbulence, though it seems to have smoothed down again, so let's go ahead and turn the belts back to auto. Alright, so in that case runway 1 is confirmed for us. Let's go ahead and start our approach preparation here. So from Aspec we are basically going right into a downwind, like this, and well, we definitely don't need a holding like that. Let's just go ahead and insert our center fix in here, pretty much like this. Right, so ILS runway 1, let's go ahead and get that chart ready. So we've got 3000 feet by the center fix, and then we've got 2000 feet at the final fix. And that's the Fox India we've got over here. 3-degree glide path matches the chart, minimum's 344. Let's go ahead and dial that one in. So 344 is pre-selected. Missed approach then. So climb to 6500, that's what we have down here. And then runway track till 2DME Charlie Tango Victor. So we go Charlie Tango Victor 2 on the runway track. At 2DME turn left heading 330, intercept radial 346. So we've got heading 330 to intercept radial 346 until 6500, then turn right direct to the VOR. Continue to 6.7 DME outbound from the VOR, which is the Fox India if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and cross-check that. Yeah, 6.7 Fox India. And join the holding or as directed. So that's what we've got down here. And that's what we have. Perfect. Okay then. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and continue our preparation. So what else do we need? We've got a missed approach, we've got our minimums. Let's see, VNAV page, forecast. Speed is looking good, speed on transition is looking good, forecast page. Why is the forecast missing again? We did request that on the ground, so let's just go ahead and request that once again. 40 miles till our top of descent, that's good. Okay, and here comes the forecast, loads. So, 25-mile ring around our destination airport. We can go ahead and remove all the others. Those are not needed anymore. 19.8 landing fuel, and the minimum is 14.3. That means we have about 5,000 kilos extra. That's an entire flight hour. Wow. That's quite a bit more extra fuel than I would have initially suspected. But okay, so be it. From there on, what else do we have? To be honest, not all that much. So 19.8, 21.6. That means we are going to use about 2,000 kilos roughly. Let's calculate 1,500. So if we make it 240 tons landing weight, we'll be on the conservative side over here. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of performance calculation. Landing and routes. Cape Town, runway 1, import. Calculate. Okay, we can land. 2,100 meters is what we need. Let's go ahead and compare that with our airport chart. So we've got 3,200 meters available, and we most likely want to vacate via Echo 1. So might just use a tiny higher order brake setting, see if that helps. Otherwise we might just vacate via runway 34. Or via the end. I tell you honestly, Echo 1, Echo 2 is probably a little bit far out, so let's just go ahead and vacate at the end. So performance tool, let's recalculate that. Landing en route, order brakes 1. That's looking better. So flaps 30, order brakes 1. Idle reverse, and come off at the end. That should be more than good enough. Okay, apart from that, recall is empty. We have nothing in the notes down here. Then I'm off to do the PA. You have control your radios. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent towards Cape Town in the next 5 minutes. The weather down there currently 14 degrees centigrade with a bit of wind coming from the north. We expect some excellent views on the city of Cape Town on our arrival, and with this we would like to say goodbye to you now. Hope that you have enjoyed your stay on board our Boeing 777 and wish you a nice and safe onwards journey, nice holidays, and if applicable, successful business. Thank you very much for being our guests today. We hope to see you all again soon, and in the meantime would like to wish you a nice evening in Cape Town or wherever your continuous journey may take you. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, the passengers are dealt with, and I think that's really everything we need for now. So, reset MCP altitude. Yeah, let's go ahead, request descent, and start at level 200 initially, and then we'll do further as we get closer to the airport. Okay, are you ready for the approach briefing? Threats for the arrival, we've got high terrain in the area, and I think that's really the most applicable threat over here. Apart from that, let's just review that ATIS. Yeah, it's good weather conditions all around. I'll tell you what, when we get closer I'll switch over to to terrain as well. We don't really need the weather over here. Okay, so speeds are in, forecast is in, fixed rings around the airport 25 miles. For the arrival, we come in via Aspic, proceed towards the VOR. We might just go ahead and tune that VOR actually, even though we are certified to do without the tuning, but let's just go on the safe side here. So, Charlie Tango Victor. Here we go. Is in. Okay, apart from that, radar vectors. Onto the ILS approach, starting in 2000, minimums 344 is cross-checked. Flaps 30 approach, idle reverse, order brakes 1, vacate at the end, to the left, cross runway 35 I believe it is, and then we'll taxi to the parking. Well, and that's mostly it. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No? Excellent. Drag required, yeah. That'd be the point where I would slam the thrust levers shut. And look at that, all of a sudden the speed is stable. Okay, excellent. Descent checklist. Recall, checked. Notes, checked. Order brake, 1. Landing data, VRF 3146, minimum 344 set left, set right. Approach briefing completed, descent checklist complete. Okay, so that's this part of the preparation done. Now, some of you have asked me every now and then, how do I decide if I'm going to fly the Star or if I'll go for radar vectors or what exactly I'm going to do for the approach. And, well, why not use the opportunity to answer that? So, my key to looking at how these flights are done in real life... What's it doing now? Why did that landing gear extend? I have a feeling the plug of my joystick might be loose. And that may have caused it. Well, everything's plugged in well again now. Okay. Interesting to see, though, that the 777 does not seem to have a protection against landing gear extension when you're above the maximum extension speed. Like, if you look at that, maximum speed should be 270 knots, Mach 0.82. We are well above that. And still, it started to extend the landing gear. That's interesting. Well, obviously, if something like that happens, it's an entry in the tech log. It's going to be a call to maintenance saying that for an unknown reason, the landing gear lever came down in the descent. We have no clue why. Probably the uplog failed. I don't know. And, well, we retracted it again immediately, and so far it held. I really have no clue. The simulator hung for a moment. The sim just got stuck for a moment, and all of a sudden the gear started to come down. That was interesting. I really have no clue. I really don't. But okay, so be it. Anyway, we got interrupted. I just wanted to show you where I'd usually get my information about the approach, and that comes from Flight Radar. So you can see over here, this is how I found out about my departure gate, Fox 4. And, well, obviously they took off from a different runway there because the flight happened yesterday evening, or yesterday. And now, if we take a look down at our arrival, you can kind of see they got radar vectored all across here. So that's most likely what we are going to do as well. We'll just take ourselves a vector. Looks like that vector even happened well before aspect. If you look at the point where they started to turn left, and if you then compare that with what we've got on our nav display, it looks like they started to turn somewhere over here with a nice vector like, I don't know, 160, something like that. So we are going to do the same over there. Obviously, that means we just gotta ensure that we are actually going to be at the safe altitude there. So the minimum radar altitude chart is usually really handy for this stuff. So looking at this good stuff, we got 4,600 here as minimum vectoring altitude, and 6,800 in the north within 30 miles of Cape Town VOR. So that's kind of the area that's of interest for us over here. And then as we get closer, the minimum vectoring altitudes are getting lower, so they can get us down to lower altitudes. In any case, that means we can open this chart as our primary chart here for the approach. So 4,600 is going to be our initial limitation there. So passing flight level 250, seatbelt sign can come on. And with that done, we should start slowly looking into the approach itself. So first of all, let's go down to lower altitude, say 10,000. Okay, let's just go ahead and set up those lights. So storm light off for now. Definitely want the floodlights here. Maybe not even as bright as I had initially set them. Something like that. MCP, can turn that up a tiny bit as well. Something like this maybe. Pedestal as well. Dim floor lights. I think this is a nice compromise right now between brightness and being able to see something. Master bright down a bit so that the displays get a little bit darker. And I think this is a nice setup, isn't it? Alrighty, so that's pretty much everything done that we could have done. I'm just gonna turn that dome light up a little bit again. Because why not? We'll turn it back down once we are really down low. It's just important that we do start dimming the airplane already, because full adaptation of the eye to darkness takes approximately 30 minutes. So by the time we get down and start our approach, we definitely want our eyes to be adapted. So I'll tell you what, let's just turn this down a bit more. Something like that. So that we can really see what we need to see by the time we get down. Okay, there is definitely no weather anywhere here, so I'll go over to the terrain display as well now. So, radar vector, let's say, what do we need? 170-ish. Heading select, 170. Level change. Let's extend the center line here. Like that. 2,000 feet high. Yeah, that's fine. That's not too shabby. This is of course something that we would have planned for on the approach if we were more familiar with the general area. For me, it's the first flight to Cape Town since, I don't know, at least a year or so in the simulator. Never flew there in real life yet. So, I just don't have that kind of experience. Of course, I could have looked it up earlier in the flight, but it would kind of take the fun out of it, would it? So a little bit of speed brake surely can't hurt. I'm just using partial speed brakes here. I don't want to go too aggressive on them. Mostly because I do know that we can easily catch up with the path, as you can see over here. So, the first lights of Cape Town start coming into sight. The moon seems pretty bright today. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. That looks pretty cool, to be honest. Okay, and we are reaching our profile already. So then, 4,600 was the minimum vectoring altitude here, so let's go down to 5,000, set QNH. QNH 1021 cross-check, passing 10.7 now. Checked. And the speed brakes can come back in again. VNAV. That might have been a bit aggressive. Well, let's just hold the levers back. You can nicely do that in the sim by simply holding the F1 key when it tries to advance them. The real Boeing does that all the time as well. That's really where the pilot just gotta apply some judgment and, well, put your hands on them, slam them to the closed position, and that's it. So, looking at the display, if we continue on this heading, we'll have this kind of base over here. That's gonna be like, what, 6 or 7 miles maybe. Looks fine to me. Alright, and here comes Cape Town. There's the hills. And there's the city. Well, there's the city, of course, but you know what I mean. Sorry, passengers. Lights coming on. Why sorry? Well, because the lights make it more difficult for them to see something outside. But I'm afraid the safety of flight always comes first. So it does in this case. Okay, so 20 miles straight, then the left-hand turn. That looks pretty good to me. Let's just go level change here so that we fly the speed accurately. I'm not too worried about the VNAV path, because obviously it isn't perfect. Now, in my old airline, we would have gone ahead and constructed ourselves some profile. Like, from here, that's gonna be like, what, track 300, 6 miles. What did I say? Track 300/6. No, something like that, and that would give us a better VNAV profile. Now, that worth it or not, you gotta know for yourself. Personally, ever since I'm flying Airbus, we simply extend the center line there and then do the rest of it ourselves. So let me do that again. Here we go. Center line is long. Here we go. Okay, the cabin is ready. Approach checklist, please. Altimeters. QNH 1021. Approach checklist complete. Okay. So, minimum vectoring altitude is still 4,600. Well, this is 20 DME. Yeah, we'll go down to 4.6, and anything else we'll do later. Nonetheless, let's see. Radial 225 out of Cape Town VOR. So basically, once we are past here, and within 10 miles, or past radial 210 within 17 miles. That's that one, okay. So basically, once we're past this, we can descend further. Fine for me. Flying over the hills right now. Sometimes I find it hard to judge. Normally I do daylight flights on the channel because you just have all that beautiful scenery and stuff, and because people in general seem to prefer daylight flights, but I'm thinking about doing a couple more night flights because the sim does simply look beautiful at night as well, doesn't it? If we just look at this, it really does look quite pretty, doesn't it? Okay, so approach mode on the standby is selected. That brings in the glide slope a little bit earlier, since on the PFD it will not be in view unless we are within 90 degrees of the runway track. And then within 17 miles from Charlie Tango Victor, once we pass that radial, we can go down 3,600, make the left turn onto the final. And then we are well covered within the minimum vectoring altitudes. Okay, let's go ahead and start slowing down. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and do that manually. So, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Okay, we're past the radial, so down 3,600. And let's start our left-hand turn here. Looking for heading 100. Engines use day and idle. Auto thrust off. Okay, let's continue the left-hand turn, heading 040, cleared ILS approach, runway 01. Still quite windy up here, 40 knots. Alt capture. Flaps 5. And localizer captured. Glide slope alive. Alright, so the runway is inside, 12 o'clock. Recapturing the localizer here. Still quite a pretty headwind here. But well, the wind on the ground was something like 350 at something, so that's certainly going to be, well, certainly going to be quite a bit of wind, so 38 knots up here isn't all that surprising. Okay, so here comes the glide slope. Glide slope capture. Go around altitude 6,500 set. So, looking good. Established on the ILS. Nicely on the localizer, nicely on the glide slope. Very well. This would be the moment to contact the tower now. What we can do up here is to start preparing our taxi chart. Terrain noted. Okay, gear down, flaps 20. What a beautiful view on the city this is. Flaps 30. And whenever ready, landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. Alright, let's do manual thrust on this one. Beautiful view on Cape Town, isn't it? Let me just take a quick screenshot here. Autopilot, auto throttle. Look at this. I just really, really like that. Okay, and here we go, manual again. So, runways at our 12 o'clock. The puppies show that our glide slope is good, or the other way around, or both are wrong. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, I wouldn't be surprised about both. Checked. Oh, that's quite a wind shift here. But we are still to lose some 10 knots of wind before our landing, so... Here we go, about 2.5 degrees pitch, 60% power. That's roughly what we should need for the approach.
Approaching minimums.
Checked.
Minimums.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Thrust goes normal. Idle reverse. And we let it roll all the way to the end. With that wind, we might probably even have vacated Echo, huh? Okay, manual brakes. Tell me it's me, but that landing calculation seems rather off. We could easily have caught Echo. Okay then, well, in this case we can easily vacate via runway 34. So with that smooth touchdown, and basically not using any braking, and using idle reverse, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some passengers still sound asleep. We'll have to make up for it with some violent braking then. Okay, approaching the taxiway, down towards 10 knots, and off we go to the left. So, there's the British Airways and an Emirates. We'll probably park in between the two. Good old 747. What a beautiful aircraft that is. Okay. Vacating that runway, let's continue our hose hold. Okay, after landing procedure is complete, we can take the train displays off. Here we go. Okay. So, let's see. This is a little bit too close. Let's park behind the British. So that's probably Alpha 3, then Alpha 4 is the British, then Alpha 5 should be ours. Gate Alpha, Alpha 5. No marshal law needed, or rather no no follow me needed. We definitely need a marshal law, or at least a guidance system at the gate. APU is starting. Lights off. So, Alpha 5, 777 is on the guidance system. And here we come. Pretty hard to read that thing. Okay, parking brake set, APU running. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cape Town. Parking checklist, or shutdown checklist. Parking brake, set. Shutdown checklist complete. Okay then, let's go ahead and connect all our ground services. So, disarm all the doors. Set chocks, ground power request, jetway connection request. Is it coming? Is anything happening? No, not yet. That parking was a little bit close, wasn't it? Maybe we are too close now and it can't connect the jetway. I would not be surprised. Oh no, here it comes. Yeah, that's looking much better. Even though that was an interesting way of connecting the jetway, and we are definitely standing quite far forward. But well, so be it. So let's see, messages, that is all associated, these are expected as well. Doors manual, and you guys may start the deboarding, please. Aft cargo, bulk cargo, forward cargo. Entry to left. And here we go, so that's it, welcome to Cape Town. I do hope you have enjoyed this one, I hope you enjoyed that night landing as well. Give me a feedback in the comments below, and with all of that, all I can say is thank you so much for flying along. I sure hope that you have enjoyed the flight with us, and if you did, be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below. Finally, if you want to learn to fly the 777 just like I do, be sure to check out my Ultimate 777 guide. More on that in the video description below. And last but not least, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I see you all again on the next one.